Welcome to Comics with Dan. I'm going to be reviewing C.O.W.L 1964. So I am recording this at 10 o'clock at night, the night I just got back from vacation, because Kyle Higgins sent this to me on Friday right before I left, and the final order cutoff date is tomorrow, Monday. So I'm going to film and edit and release this all tonight, just because I think it's really important that everyone knows how great this book is. So C.O.W.L is back. I didn't read C.O.W.L back when it came out in 2014, 2015, but I read volumes 1 and 2 about a year ago, and as soon as I was done, I wanted more. So I can't even imagine how the people that have been waiting for this for close to 10 years at this point are feeling right now. They've got to be so excited, and I have to say that it picks up right where it left off. So C.O.W.L 1964 is advertised as C.O.W.L going national, and that's exactly what it is. Jeffrey Warner is taking C.O.W.L to New York and Los Angeles. It seems like he's kind of trying to mend some bridges that he's burned before, or is he back to his scheming ways? I personally trust Jeffrey Warner probably less than any character in all of comics, and you can quote me on that. He's conniving and scheming and is just an evil dude. This is like a political drama and a superhero book sort of mashed into one. It's not political in the sense that the politicians are main characters, but rather the relationships and interactions between the C.O.W.L organization and politicians are extremely important to the story. And in that sense, it's sort of, a political drama. And of course, C.O.W.L is a union for superheroes. So that's kind of where the superhero portion blends in. So Kyle Higgins and Alex Siegel have brought these characters back after 10 years without missing a single beat. So Carl is still an asshole, Radia is still an absolute boss, and Jeffrey Warner is still a manipulative mastermind. Warner is right back to his scheming ways, in my opinion. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the book, and I really think people should go read it. But all I'll say is that from where we left off at the end of Volume 2 to now, it hasn't skipped a beat. It's been 2 years since the events of Volume 2, but it doesn't feel like we've missed anything that's been going on. We can see that some characters have been, doing other things and kind of moved on a little bit, but the actual plot points that were left a little dangling at the end of Volume 2 of C.O.W.L, they're right there. And it looks like Higgins and Siegel, they're going to address that right away. So what I love about this is that I know we're not going to leave any plot threads dangling, which is probably the hardest part about having read C.O.W.L and not having an immediate follow-up to it, is you just wanted to know what was going to happen next. So we're not going to be missing any of those stories, but also just the way that the book's structured around sort of how they're telling the story is going to allow for new plot lines to form while these other ones are sort of being wrapped up. Rod Reese is an awesome artist. His style looks as though everything's painted, but he works digitally in Photoshop entirely. I know most artists work digitally now, but Reese really does a good job of making it look like practical painting using a physical medium as opposed to digital. I think that he does a really good job of making it look realistic, whereas I think that a lot of times artists who have switched to digital, you can sort of tell that that's the case. And while working digitally isn't a bad thing, I do think that sort of natural look is something to be aspired for. So he has the ability to capture that 60s feel through not only the choice of his color palette, which is fantastic, and then you just sort of get that 60s noir feel to it, but also through the design of the characters and the scenery as well. From the character clothing to the look of the kitchen in one of the scenes, you can just tell that this book is set in the 60s, apart from just being in the title that it's set in 1964. There's just lots of classic looks, and it almost felt like watching an episode of Mad Men in the sense of getting to see all that sort of retro-looking stuff, sort of, brought to life through Reese's art. So for any longtime C.O.W.L fans, this might not come as any surprise, because if you're familiar with Reese's work and you've read C.O.W.L before, then these are all the things you heard whenever people were talking about C.O.W.L 10 years ago. But I think that just goes to show how great of a continuation this is, that I could start talking about the artwork in C.O.W.L 1964, #1, and you wouldn't know if I'm talking about the artwork in this book or talking about the artwork from the original C.O.W.L. Reese has been able to keep it incredibly consistent. And honestly, artist styles, they might not change drastically over the span of 10 years, but in reality, they're going to change, and I think that the fact that Reese is able to have developed his art style and grown it and become a better artist over the last 10 years, as I would hope most artists do, the fact that he's able to still capture that same feeling from C.O.W.L in C.O.W.L 1964 is awesome and perfect. And we want it to feel like a continuation, but also like a new story. And that's exactly what's happening. What I said before about Higgins and Siegel transitioning the characters from C.O.W.L to C.O.W.L 1964 perfectly, Reese has done the same for the art. I think what's so great about that is just the cohesion of the creative team. I love whenever you can tell a creative team is firing on all cylinders and communicating effectively with each other what they want to accomplish. So now for the lettering. Anyone that has watched my channel before knows that I love good lettering. And everyone also knows that I think that Hassan Otsmane-Elhaou is the best letterer in comics. So the fact that Hassan was added to a creative team that was already amazing is just like icing on the cake. It's absolutely perfect. So I had to look back at my copies of C.O.W.L Volume 1 and Volume 2 to sort of compare the lettering to see kind of what differences we were getting. And so to be honest, Troy Peteri's art, or his lettering, was really good. And it fit the tone of the 60s really well and meshes with Reese's art really well. However, Hassan's work in this book is no exception to any of the incredible portfolio that he's put out. The change in the speech bubbles based on sort of how the characters are talking and who's talking is a standard for Hassan's work, and it's absolutely perfectly done. Additionally, the sound effect work is awesome. The way that Hassan builds sound effects into the art and works the sound effects into Reese's art is masterful. The fact that I can't give you specific examples of what Hassan's sound effects look like in this book, because I would be giving spoilers, tells you how important the lettering is in this book to the overall story, and it really is. The sound effects play key pieces to the story, and it's so well done. It's absolutely perfect. Overall, I mean, C.O.W.L's back, and it's back in a big way. It's so well done, and C.O.W.L 1964 #1 final order cutoff is tomorrow, July 15th. So make sure you get it on your pull list. If you haven't read C.O.W.L before, you can on the Omnibus app, which has first of all a ton of great Massiverse content on it. It's a digital comics app, and you can get Volume 1 for I think $8 and Volume 2 for I think $12. I'll post a link to those in the description of the video. In addition to that, if you have Hoopla, I'm pretty sure both of them are available there. That's what I read it on about a year ago. And then I also bought digital copies of Volumes 1 and 2 when Humble Bundle had their deal. But if you haven't read C.O.W.L and you don't know that you're going to be able to read it anytime soon, there's a great little blurb at the beginning of this book about where the story is so far. It does a really good job of getting everyone caught up to speed and reminding everyone kind of what happened last time, because it's been 10 years. And so I think that you know, this is still really new reader friendly, but I will say that it hits incredibly harder for someone who has read C.O.W.L before. I would say that, you know, your enjoyment level could be, like a 7 if you haven't read C.O.W.L, so it's still a pretty good book. But it's like, you know, a 9 or a 10 if you read C.O.W.L, 10 years ago or even last year, right? I would recommend reading C.O.W.L first before you pick up 1964, but you don't absolutely have to, because there's a little bit of a catch-up thing at the beginning. So thanks to Kyle Higgins for sending this over to me. I really appreciate it. It was a great book. I'm really excited to get my physical copy of it on August 7th. Again, final order cutoff tomorrow, July 15th, so make sure you check it out or pick it up in your store off the shelf on August 7th. Make sure you like the video. Make sure that you subscribe. Check out these other videos here, and thank you for watching.